6. We did not find my deer last night. So we came back to the same spot. Glassed it up. Didn't find him. I ended up finding a couple little forkhorns and a nice looking 2x3. Tried to have Grady and Keith stock in on that. Didn't work out. I ended up winding them. So I kept trying to find. I went up and I was just following blood from my deer and I ended up losing it. Keith went in on a little stalk on one of the forkhorns that was still in the area, but they ended up moving off. Grady went up on top of the hill we last saw his deer run over, and he was just glassing around. I was walking back down to meet Keith and then meet him. We were gonna go figure, I'd probably look at a new spot and figure that my deer just got away. Because I followed blood for a mile and a half or more and then lost it. But Grady just called. And my buck just came running in with a doe into the valley we're in. The arrow is still in him. But it's up in his neck by the sounds of it. Which is what I was afraid of. So I'm up high and Keith's down in the wash. He's running around fine bumping this doe and we're just gonna kind of see if we can get in on him again. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Keep you posted.
We did eventually attempt a stalk on this buck today. Due to the lack of cover on this hillside, I approached the deer from above and made it to 90 yards. But before I got close enough, the thermals switched, giving the does a slight taste of my scent. They ran to the far end of the canyon and settled back down. We decided to leave them be and come back again tomorrow since they've now been here 2 days in a row. The shot placement was definitely higher in the neck than we originally thought, as you can see by my arrow's fletchings just below his jawline and entering down lower in his mid-neck. I'd originally believed that my arrow deflected off some brush, which is why the shot placement was so poor. After reviewing the footage from the shot in slower motion, it became apparent that just before the shot, I'd never noticed the buck had taken 2 steps towards me. Then he also jumped the string, causing him to duck down into my arrow. I knew the shot was pretty hard quartering 2 positions, so I had my pin tucked up tightly against his shoulder and figured that at 30 yards, him ducking the string wouldn't make much of a difference, but obviously I was wrong. It was a collection of many factors, and of course one can't rule out buck fever. As hunters, we never want to wound game, but unfortunately it comes with the territory. The only thing we can do is push on and try to finish what we've started.
I don't know what day it is. It's Tuesday.
Day 7.
Day 7. We found the buck Jake shot at 2 days ago yesterday. He's still alive. And we're gonna find him today again. And we're gonna change that.
Arrow's still in him.
Arrow's still sticking out of his chest.
Looks
and
like
if we don't find him, we're gonna kill another one.
We're gonna find him, and then we're gonna kill another one.
so. That's kind of the goal this morning, is to find him. But really only have 1 day left after today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to boogie.
Time to do it.
Our unit closes tomorrow at sundown. For mule deer, at least. Well, the unit we're in right now, but not the unit where he's in.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can find. Can't do. We're gonna split up, go 2 and 2, and
check each side of the valley that he was on. We last saw him in yesterday.
Kind of sort of put them to bed. But they were a little riled up, so we'll see where they're at. And yeah, one glass east, one glass west. We'll go from there.
Oh, watch them, watch them, watch them. Where are they going? They're going down to the right. The buck is still not really moving. He's just sitting there. Yeah, Jake, you think you're pointing directly at him. I feel like you should be able to see your sand right there or something. Jake, you've got to be able to see that deer. Jake's drawing his bow right now. Grady, get ready. Stand up, Grady. Grady, stand up. The deer has lifted his head a little bit. Shoot him, Grady. Shoot him when you get the chance. Jake's arrow is good. Jake has a good arrow in that buck. Grady, oh, he just dropped. He's thinking about dropping. He's thinking about dropping. He's dead. He's gonna die right there.
It's 4:31. We found the buck again this morning. You guys found him first thing. We split up two groups. We glassed both sides of the bowl. We saw him on last night. Jake stalked him last night, bedded him, and they ended up feeding 90 yards below him, hung out below him for a half hour. Some cows came in the bottom of the wash. That's okay, we can talk about it. We probably can talk about it now. Cows came in, they moved a little closer to Jake yesterday. Wind swirled. They sent it in. They didn't blow out, but they went cross country.
They got enough to know I was there.
They moved about a mile up the canyon I was glassing, so we put them to bed last night. We did our long walk out of here, which we have another pretty long walk out of here. But they found him. Then they lost him. We circled to the west. We're trying to look down on this canyon. He basically disappeared under us. We saw the smaller buck with him. We saw the
the hot doe. They went up over. Me and Keith just started pushing down slowly, trying to see if we could stalk in on a smaller deer below us and maybe look in the canyon. Jake and Dan thought that he might be stuffed in there. And we started walking down in. The other small deer ended up seeing us. And we got to within 40 yards of the bottom of the wash. They told us he might be bedded in, and sure enough, he was down in the cool shade. He jumped up and he ran off. We did some circusing around trying to get in front of him. Hit it.
Oh, you're right, boys.
So, anyways, we blew him up. He blew out over the hill. He was hurt, and he either got that arrow into him more, or the fight he got into.
Oh, yeah, so when Dan and I saw him this morning, he was okay.
Yeah,
or as good as
he was better. He was chasing does.
We couldn't tell if the arrow was still in him.
He got in a fight with a smaller buck.
And they went down into a wash. The smaller buck and the doe came out, and he never came out. So we figured he'd been hurt or something, and he was down in there. And it turns out that's what it was.
So me and Keith headed down in there. We bumped him. When he jumped up from when we bumped him, he ran to 80 yards, and he was doing the weeble wobble. We thought he might go down. I ended up shooting at him at 90 just to try to put another one in him. I missed.
And he came up about, I marked a bush that I said was 40. And when he came by it, I shot under him. Turns out he was 10 yards behind the bush. I didn't notice.
So how do I switch? Up where the sun is, he ran over into the. We picked him up. Keith spotted him down kind of in this bottom over here. I jumped, scooped ahead, got on him. He was looking hurt. He was moving real slow. We knew we had to catch up to him and try to put an arrow into him. We thought we lost him in this small little finger above the hill. Get a wash here. So the boys were glassing all this, all down below. Dan got up. He was glassing there. I crossed down. I got here. We ended up respotting. We found him down here. We just stalked for, I don't know, we just stalked for a while. Dan's radioing us. He's telling me I'm getting close, 20, 30 yards. Jake's 30, 40. I got in. I could see him through a bush. I could see his snout and his beams. The bush was 20, so I figured he was a little past. I set my bow and I just waited. Jake was on the other side. Jake had enough of a rise. He was walking in on him. He saw him.
I didn't see him until I was about 25 yards.
Jake got in at 25 yards. Then he said he was fighting. He was fighting for a lane. This is what it is. It looks like that. It looks all nice, wide and open. But you get in it like this, and it's damn hard to see.
Show him Dan.
So.
Coming down the hill.
Man, the myth, the legend.
Tip my finger.
He's been glassing deer for us, chasing deer with us.
7 days now.
Yeah. So I was at 20. Jake got in. He thought you shot for 20.
What's that?
Would you range him at 20, 25?
I didn't even range. I just looked and said he's closer than 20.
He drew. He had perked his ears up a little.
When I drew, he picked his head up.
Yeah, Dan told me to draw as soon as he saw Jake draw. So I drew. I got ready to draw, actually. He shot the buck in his bed. He jumped up. Me and Jake had actually snuck in directly opposite of each other. And Dan had told us, if he goes south or west, don't shoot. We don't want to shoot each other. So as soon as Jake shot, he was up. He kind of skirted to the north. I was on him. He
only went about 10 yards.
He jumped up. He kind of whirled back. He went south a little. Jake was out of my way. I stayed on him, and I had him square on me at about 30 on my 20 pin. I was gonna center punch him, but I had some brush to go through, and he ended up going down. And he expired, and this has been
one
When did you shoot this deer?
2 days ago.
2 days ago
Noon.
at noon. Jake put an arrow in this deer. We'll probably put the footage up.
So you shot
He-
him like 420.
He whirled and he dropped as Jake shot. Jake also thought that he shot some branches and he ended up getting it in the neck. It wasn't a lethal hit. We watched him run off. We spent the rest of the day.
I blood trailed him for a mile and a
Yeah.
half.
We tracked him some that day. We glassed this whole bowl, 3 of us, while Jake was looking around for blood. Had kind of steady blood. Came back the next day. Found him again the next day. Somehow he came back blowing into the country chasing does. And we blasted him out again yesterday. Today we got on him somehow.
Yeah, stuck to him.
And we chased him through these hills and he wasn't moving fast. We blew every other deer out of this country. I think I've seen like 30 to 40 mule deer run over the hills trying to just keep eyes on this guy because we knew he wanted to bed and go down.
Go back and get my package.
We got him.
Do pictures first.
We got him. Almost center punched him. When you said if you got a shot, take it, I had his neck and I was like, I got one bush through and it's gonna go straight at that shot that I didn't take last year. It was gonna go straight through. And I was like, no. Yeah, let's look at this thing. We're like 4 miles from the truck in no particular good direction.
We got a couple of big hills to haunt out of here. Oh, look at that big bodied buck. Look at the thing with the knob still blowing.
Oh my god.
You guys haven't looked at it yet?
No, we were waiting for you guys.
Look at that thing. Holy.
That is one big, tough mountain frickin' warrior, dude.
Holy
I mean, that deer. Oh my god.
Yeah, most of it's got it. Wow. Beautiful buck, man.
It doesn't get any better than that.
nice job. You think we were gonna be coming home with something like that?
I didn't think we were coming home with anything, to be honest.
Look at that thing. That thing is wild.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you, Mr. Buck. Walking up to try to find my back now. Boys are getting ready to take some pictures. I mean, speechless that we found this buck 2 separate days after putting a non-lethal hit on him. We didn't feel super great about the hit up until today. We thought he was going to be fine, and I do believe he was going to be fine. Sometime between this morning when the boys found him and when I bumped him out of the bottom with Keith again, he went downhill pretty fast. He was moving a lot slower. He was having a hard time moving his neck. When I was falling through the wash, I had a few drops of blood. And it's just a total relief to have found him. I mean, technically 2 whole days, but we found him twice each day. And to get in, I was at 25 yards from him. Jake shot him at 16 yards. I mean, just super thankful. I mean, this is what we've been hunting in some of the lower country, and it's just beautiful.